Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello, my name is Alivia and I make videos about anthropology every single Sunday. But today we're going to be diving into feminist anthropology. Now, so far on this YouTube channel, I've made a lot of different anthropology videos about a lot of different subfields, but never once have I covered feminist anthropology, and I am very excited to break it down and tell you exactly what that is. Now, feminist anthropology is a four-field approach to anthropology that seeks to transform research findings, anthropological hiring practices, and the scholarly production of knowledge using insights from feminist theory. Now, this definition has a lot, and it's also lacking a lot. So the first thing that I want to draw your attention to is this idea that feminist anthropology is a four-field approach. Now, what's different about feminist anthropology and the other branches of anthropology is we actually use a lot of feminist theory to inform the other branches of anthropology. Now, that's probably still confusing, so let's back up a little bit. Now, anthropology has four main disciplines. A lot of you know this. Those disciplines are archaeology, biology, culture, and linguistics. Then there's all these subfields, right? There's these fields within those subfields, and feminist anthropology is one of those. But unlike a lot of other subfields, we use the ideas of feminist anthropology to inform archaeology, to inform biological anthropology, to inform I think I already said archaeology. You get the idea. We're using feminist theory in all the other branches of anthropology. And there's more to it than that, but just keep that in the back of your mind. Now let's back up a little bit because I think it's important to know where feminist anthropology really started. And around the same time, there was actually this thing called the Feminist Movement happening in America in the 1960s and the 1970s. And anthropology at this time was a rapidly growing field, and anthropology was growing alongside all this social and political change. Now, the feminist movement in America was a combination of social movements and political campaigns that basically pushed people to acknowledge that there are a lot of inequalities between men and women, and also that we should be fixing these inequalities between men and women. And so anthropologists were like, whoa, our field has a lot of inequalities in it. And so like many things, feminist anthropology did not start how it is today. It went through a slow and gradual change to get to what it is today. And this actually happened in three main phases. And those three main phases were the anthropology of women, the anthropology of gender more broadly, and then of course, feminist anthropology. Now remember what I said earlier about anthropologists recognizing that maybe anthropology wasn't actually all that representative of all people, and how maybe there were some inequalities there? We're going to talk about that a little bit more. So basically, anthropology for a really long time, I don't know how else to say it than this, was basically by men for men, in the sense that you had male ethnographers and male participants. And so you have this feedback loop where men are learning about men, which is good if you don't want to know about anybody else, I guess. But people were realizing that this way of studying people, that male ethnographers having male informants, doesn't actually defend this idea of anthropology very well. The whole field of anthropology is to understand humanity more broadly, right? It's to understand all people all around the world. And if all you've got is this subsection of the population, half of the population and less because of other problematic things in anthropology history that I'm not going to talk about right now. And yeah, if you have this subsection of the population, you're not actually getting a very real understanding of the entire population. And that's a problem, and that's what feminist anthropology really pushed to change. Long story short, anthropology has a really extensive history of racism, of colonialism, of sexism, and so many other things. And at this time, people started to realize that this is not representative of all of humanity like anthropology is supposed to be. So then, as this field of feminist anthropology began to grow and started to take shape, getting closer to what it is today, you start to see all these women in the field, these female anthropologists, and those female anthropologists are interviewing women. And then you have the intersection of information between male experiences and female experiences. And then you have anthropology growing even more, and you're looking at all these other genders, and now anthropology is getting pretty dang good. And in reality, it wasn't just women interviewing women. It was also a lot of female minority groups looking at female minority groups, which I admire a lot. Now I know what you're thinking. Alivia, Margaret Mead, Ruth Benedict, I know, they're great. But remember what I said in the beginning, feminist anthropology as a field didn't really exist or wasn't even recognized as its own thing until the 1970s. So yes, Margaret Mead is a huge figure in anthropology's history. Ruth Benedict, huge figure in anthropology's history. They're great, they're very important, but were they necessarily the pioneers of feminist anthropology? No. Absolutely, they were a huge part of the road to getting there. That is what I say. Their work is so influential. The communities that they studied, so important in the ways that we understand anthropology today. But in regards to feminist anthropology as a field of its own, no, they weren't actually the ones who said, hey, we should study women because women aren't being represented well in this field. Again, it's in their work. There's subcurrents in their work, but they weren't actually the ones who said, hey, let's change the way that things are done. Like I said before, a lot of the founders of feminist anthropology were actually women from minority groups. And unfortunately, it's a lot of women's names who aren't really recognized that often in anthropology as a field. And I'd love to talk about them in another video so they get the attention that they deserve, because, a lot of the big names, just Franz Boas, Margaret Mead, Benedict, all these people, they get the attention, but all these other amazing women and humans kind of get overlooked. So tell me if you want to see that. So that was actually all that I was able to collect on feminist anthropology. If that gave you somewhat of an understanding of what that field is, I will take that as a win. If there's anything that you still don't understand, please leave them in the comment section down below. I reply to just about every comment. I do my very best. So let me know what you're wondering, and I would love to talk to you about it. Also, if there's anything you want more detail on from this video, let me know, and maybe I'll make another video about it. Who knows? All right, you guys, I hope you're having the best Sunday ever, and I will see everybody next week. All right, you guys. Bye.